Welcome to Windows on the World, bringing you cutting-edge news, empowering information and no conspiracy theories. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking about Mini Holland and what the residents of Waltham Forest think of Mini Holland, not what they are told to think by the council, because everybody is made to believe that people in this borough wanted this. Nobody we've spoken to does, but all the signs around Walthamstow say they've been listening to what the residents say, but this was planned ages ago. They took the money, they took £30 million, and now it's done and we can't have any say in it. Quite a lot of elderly people around here. They seem to have concerns about how emergency vehicles get in and out, and especially older residents, how their families come and visit them, because it's very, very difficult to park around here, and they've closed off several roads. It's becoming very, very difficult to even get into the village. This is Windows on the World, and I'm with a Walthamstow resident who's got something to say. Can you just tell us your name and give us a bit of your background and what this is about?
Yeah, my name is Miss Teresa Achilleos. I'm a 57.5-year-old second disabled person. I moved into St Mary's Church House, 13 Orford Road, last August, believing that this would change my life, improve my situation and all my qualities of life. To date, I've done nothing but battle East Thames Living, a charity, for a wet room and a kitchen. I have no working bathroom, no working kitchen, and I'm so filthy I haven't had a wash, shower, clean since December the 8th. This week they sent people in to work at number 31 empty to refurbish it all for a new tenant to come in. I went up and barred the doors because I've got no bathroom and kitchen. Then yesterday I got a letter saying all works will commence on Monday for a wet room. Today I've united 32 tenants, vulnerable, elderly, lovely ladies, gentlemen who are living in rotted, squalor, damp, stink, filth, and I'm just saddened to see these fabulous people that built our country being forced to live in lifestyles and conditions that they wouldn't have in their own homes. So we've united, and I think next week we're going to sit outside St Mary's with 32 chairs, get the MP strongly involved, because I don't know what she's done for us. BBC News are interested, Health and Safety are going to come and inspect the whole building, and I've just taken on a huge battle. The reason they didn't put my bathroom and kitchen in 5-6 months ago is because I stood up for the building and all the lovely tenants, so now I'm being persecuted. Got a lawyer and told him to start acting because I can't stand this personal ill treatment of myself. It's prevented medical health care, no leg braces, no bodysuit and no neck collar, all pending because of my living conditions. And I'm just deeply saddened that in this day and age we have to live in these conditions.
In your opinion, why do you think they're doing this?
I think they're leaving St Mary's to rot so that all the elderly eventually die off. They're all in their 80s and 90s. Then they're going to rent them all out to the rich guppies and do them all up nice.
Yeah, it's called social cleansing, and it's happening on a very big scale around here. What we're seeing is high density housing being put in, and these are called shared or part ownership, which we will never own. Now, under Agenda 21, which is a worldwide programme, every council in this country signed up to a thing called the Climate Action Plan in the year 2000. This is a knock-on effect from that, and Walthamstow also has its own Mini Holland, which we've covered on the show. What do you think of that?
Absolutely a waste of time. They could have spent that money on fixing up the whole village, putting crossroads in for the children, the nursery schools. There's so much more that could have been done other than a bit of paving.
Yes, so as far as Waltham Forest goes and the way it's changing. How did you put this together? Because you seem to be quite knowledgeable. Everything we talked just before this interview, and I outlined some of these objectives of Agenda 21, how it's being played out. So how long have you been sort of awake to this? When did you start realising what's happening?
Over 6 years ago, when Adult Social Services were going to come in and adapt my home to meet my wheelchair needs at 43B First Avenue. 5-year battle to get an adaptation date. I was awarded a £50,000 facility disability grant, April 2013. Adult Social Services with Papworth Trust, Borough of Waltham Forest, took that money, put it in their pockets, and 3.5 months later I got an adapted bedsit from a 1-bedroom flat that met nobody's needs. It was that bad they had to move me out there on a priority A and move me into St Mary's Church House for health and safety reasons. I would not sign off the £50,000 people's taxes. I was threatened with eviction, everything. I said, do your best. I'd rather chop my hands off than give that public money to waste. And they stole it all, stole my equal opportunity. Hence I ended up in St Mary's, another charity, and all you're doing is fighting them for a decent home.
These recent changes that have happened in Walthamstow, especially the Mini Holland scheme in Walthamstow Village, were allegedly put into the public domain as a trial to get their opinion. Now, I told you about the way that consensus works, and in other words, change agents come in, make it look as though everyone agrees. But how many people, in your opinion, that you talked to actually agreed to Mini Holland?
None, and I'll tell you why. Number one, this part of the village is one of the highest residential elderly sheltered areas of Walthamstow. Old age pensioners, vulnerable people. With this mini village, there will be no dial-a-rides. How will the cabs get to us? How will ambulances get to us? No one consulted the sick, elderly, vulnerable and the disabled. It's like we don't exist. It's true, no one has taken into consideration this is the highest old age pensioner area of Walthamstow, and I don't understand the whole point of it myself. I don't understand what gain and how it benefits us, the vulnerable, which nobody cares about.
If you go onto windowsontheworld.net and look at Mini Holland schemes equal fake green fascism, there's a bit of the background in there. We've done several shows on this. One's called the Smart Green Genocide, and there's a lot of stuff about Agenda 21 on Windows on the World, and really it comes down to the fact that it's massive social cleansing going on, and there's going to be loss of private property, as we're seeing with the sustainable development housing plans. So there's thousands of new flats being built, but they're not being built for people like you.
Ah, right. East Thames Living with Interserve have built brand new homes, showing us in magazines these brand new beautiful kitchens, bathrooms, and we live in a shithole. Some people's bathrooms have not been touched in 26 years. What does that tell you? My bathroom is that filthy, it's full of gangrene. I've been told I'm not to go anywhere near the place in case I get diseased. So what I don't understand is, how can these big charity companies build brand new homes, put them in our magazine, put them through our doors, and we've been fighting 5 years to get a roof fixed?
Yes, it does seem very anomalous until you look at the agenda, which is obviously what we talked about earlier, social cleansing. So they're trying to kick the elderly people out of the village. What they want to do is bring in young people who are upwardly mobile and can afford the massive amounts of money that these flats cost, because they're tiny, these flats, and they're going for up to about £350,000. Now, my question would be, who can afford that? Because the indigenous population of this area certainly can't.
Well, that's a very good question. I don't know how much these people must be earning, but I know one thing, this will be turned into a jungle village alcohol land. We already see it. The weekend, everybody flocks to Summit Road to drink all day and all night. Then they come to their cars. Where's the police officers? They're after them, we're all drunk. Now, last year when they shut the road off for 2 weeks, we had jungle village here. We had people playing football all night long, drinking. And really all they're doing is opening up more and more pubs and booze, so people come and get bloody drunk every day and night.
Yes, in a very, very controlled area. This area will be completely controlled, and it's
cans of alcohol. Everywhere you walk in this village, everyone's drinking. They're sitting, drinking. Well, how's that good for us?
Well, I think that what happens is with this consensus idea is that they encourage this sort of behaviour, and then they have to clamp down on it, very draconian measures, you know. So that will be the outcome, that no one will be able to drink anything around here unless it's a cappuccino, and this is really what's happening, isn't it? Because they're narrowing the roads in the village and they're extending the pavements to make it look like it's some kind of mini Holland type scene. But it's in your opinion, what would you say the comparisons are between Walthamstow village and Amsterdam?
I'm a florist by trade. I entered the flower industry at 12 years old. I've been to Holland on many flower issues and meetings with FTD. We're nothing like mini Holland. I've worked in 18 countries around the world on my ability. I've never seen such a filthier borough than this borough. It used to be a lovely borough, Walthamstow, and this mini Holland, well, we've now got no Black Horse Road, is now called Black Horse Village. Get a grip. Whatever these corrupt, filthy councillors, long-term councillors that are so rooted in their positions in that town hall that do not make way for fresh, new people and ideas. We need to evict, denounce these long-term, greedy councillors that only care about how deep their pockets are and do not live in this borough. I would like to work to get rid of them all and put new people in. We're sick and tired of being governed by the same monsters that will not move and that have no care for its people or this borough, and that's a fact.
Yes, now Clyde Lopes was brought into this borough quite a few years ago, and he's now Cabinet Member for the Environment. He's the person who's really pushing forward this mini Holland scheme. He's the face of it, so what would you say to him?
Well, Mr. Clive, do you live in the village? Will you be coming down riding your bike? Or are you going to bring your family to sit on a bit of plastic grass and have a picnic in the middle of the village when we've got parks? Miss Teresa Achilleos. It's absolutely, they wouldn't have this. East Thames staff don't have these conditions. Certainly not Diane Reynolds. Hello.
Hello, you're right.
Louise, yes, thank you.
Okay.
She suffers severe damage. This is the most horrific 5 years these people have been trying to get this done. 5 years. What is this? They ought to be ashamed of themselves, these Thames. Appalled, look, they're appalled and ashamed of themselves. They only come and put the new sky roofs in 4 weeks ago.
I see them. They care when I go out here now.
This causes health, lungs and chest problems for us. Poor people that live here. Disgraceful people. Ashamed of themselves. Not appalling. For a sheltered accommodation, sorry. All that money they get. And we ask them, what do you do with our allocated funds from the government towards sheltered accommodations? What have you done with our money of 5 years? Where did it go? You went and built brand new homes and left us like this, in disrepairs and neglect, thinking we'd all die and then you won't have to worry about it. These doors, no one can cope with these doors for elderly people. I think it's ridiculous. You have to be Miss Bloody Hercules. No door stoppers, nothing to aid elderly, vulnerable people. This is one of the ladies that trusted me to unite us all.
Yeah, can I go and sit down?
Yes, darling. I'm just going to take him. This is Mark.
I had a bad turn yesterday.
Okay, Jo.
I've been told I've got to go and get myself
Tight about everything now. You must have now. This is our lounge.
So what do you think of Cabinet Member for the Environment, Clyde Lopes?
I don't know much about him. So, you know, I don't think anyone does really, because that don't come up much, does it really?
You hear his name put out in basically PR press releases from the council, and you see that he backs these schemes. He seems to have been brought in to do that, to extend the Agenda 21 into the borough. with the sustainable development, a lot of it goes into this eco-fascism as well, in the respect that they're now wiping out enviro-crime. So several years ago here, a lady gave away a cardboard box, and she had a business, and it was covered in mainstream news. The company was called ElectroSign. She gave away a cardboard box to somebody who's moving house. It ended up being left on the street, and she was taken to court for fly tipping. The case cost Waltham Forest £15,000, and the judge said it was a monumental waste of taxpayers' money.
Well, yes, that's true. They don't know what they're doing with the money. Don't say it's silly, but I love to think that we could go with the Green Party, because that, I think, is the way, really, to... But they're all mixing up. They're
mixing up policies, yes, because the Green Party got really taken over by this environmental lobbying, and the environmental lobbying is tied in with what's going on with this mini Holland, and the environmental lobbyists are the people who are taxing the elderly through fuel poverty, because a lot of these so-called green taxes are hitting elderly people a lot more. This is why people can't afford to heat their homes, etc. We're in sheltered accommodation here, which doesn't really affect you, but this is a massive problem. And the thing with the Green Party is that they've bought into the idea of man-made global warming, or as it's now known, climate change, which is a consensus idea to bring in an agenda. So it's a politically motivated idea rather than a scientific one. Yeah.
Well, that was a bit strong for me.
Well, tune into Windows on the World and have a little listen to what we do.
I haven't got yeah.
What it appears to be is they're just following policy. So they're given policy, policy is enforced through them. All they have to do is say yes to the policy, and they take the money.
Yeah, but that is wrong. Absolutely wrong, and to think that government can do that sort of thing. But then do you know what? I tell you what, years ago when Maggie Thatcher came in, I wanted to do a placard, believe it or not, and stand down Downing Street and say, get the old cow out. I can't, no, I can't. Not anymore. I was really ill yesterday, stressed out. They wanted to take me to hospital and I said, no, I'm not going. Well, no, it wasn't. It was everything, you know, all the upset and everything. That's what this... Well, I know, but, you know, this is what this place does. It don't do you any healthier. Yeah. Yeah. I came out the toilet. Sabrina was there again. No, Leona was. It's my granddaughter. And I couldn't speak. I couldn't get words out, right? Then all of a sudden, my face starts feeling swollen and numb, and it went up, tingling and numb. Then my hands went like that. Well, she phoned the doctors. The ambulance came. They said, we think you ought to go to the hospital. You know something could happen. Well, lucky enough, I was determined nothing was going to happen. But how it made me feel yesterday, Anita said, you mustn't go getting yourself upset anymore and this and that, but it don't do you any good here.
No, but what I think a good thing to remember might be that these people are public servants. They're there to serve you. So it's up to them to listen to what you're saying. And so really it's them that should be getting stressed out with you. So reverse it back on them.
But they don't. They don't. I mean, you've seen me in here having a go. I'm really stressed with living here. Yeah, but some of the old people, they won't talk, which I can understand now how I was feeling, but it's just disgraceful. It's unbelievable.
Show you 9,000 people stopped to look at 2 photo albums of the works they done at 43B and the money, and they wrote comments, not just signed my petition. Nearly 9,000 people, I will show you, I've got them all, in protest of public money and how it was spent and what they did with the disability facility grant.
I think that's very important, that, because unless you raise your voice, you get steamrolled by consensus, which means that they appear to make it look like everyone's agreeing to what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I personally was all for, all my life, to demonstrate, people all over to demonstrate like they do in other countries, because the government is just so corrupt and everything. Everything. We need people that know their jobs. I don't see what is that desperate about people in this country. I mean, don't get me wrong, I said that wrong. What I mean to say is it's not hard to know how much money they got there and what does need doing. They make such a big issue of it. But you ask them about this, oh, well, we're doing that, we're doing this and everything, you know. You're just talking to a blank wall.
Our government cannot control the banks, the phone companies, TV licence, they can't control Sky, cable, they can't control any of these anymore. And you know why? They don't belong to us anymore to control. All our gas, all our electric, all our cable is owned by foreigners that could stop us anytime. We no longer have our own gas, electric or anything. We rely on the hands of foreigners providing all our goods. That's wrong.
Yes, everything's offshore and it's run by banks and corporations.
Controlled. That's why David Cameron cannot pull in them bankers. He can't even pull in Sky. And that's a cable company. But they're all American companies. They're all Russian companies. Our gas electric is owned by Russia, France and anybody. They're not our friends.
Well, the latest and biggest funder of the Conservative Party is an Israeli arms dealer.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not, but I do agree with Josie. I failed to see how David Cameron got in. I'll say this, he put on the best half-hour speech last week on the TV, bidding for his pitch. He made a lot of sense. Ed Miliband, I thought Labour would take over.
What do you think happened in the election now? Do you think that we are under that much corruption and corporate takeover that the election could possibly be fixed? What do you think of that?
I do. Hackney Council lost all its online votes. How many other councils lost their online votes like Hackney Council? It was in the papers. These people did not have an opportunity to vote. This did happen 4 years ago. Many people were not given an opportunity to vote. You had 1 day to vote. We all know people work 24/7 now. What opportunity did they really give us British people? We should have had a week voting so that you got all the votes in. Now what happened to those online votes? Where are they? What happened to the postal votes? Nobody knows. We've not heard a thing. It seems to me David Cameron's got in and they've flagged everything done, shut, and Cameron's now our Prime Minister. Now you all shut up, public, he's here. How? I don't understand. That door closed so quick. Nobody's fault, and the next day he's back Prime Minister and not a peep, peep, peep out of anybody. Strange. Strange.
And the so-called rich list went up massively. So what we've seen is a huge rise in ultra-rich, but a massive increase in the ultra-poor.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah. The peasants are going back to the days of the Greeks, where it was rich, poor, no in between. We are not going forward in this country. The only way we went forward, Mr. David Cameron, is in mobiles and texting everybody, riot, technology.
We're flooded by trivia and things of no importance.
We have to be everyday news, not yesterday news. And this is what's happening, where it's, you know, our government has no long-term future sets for us people, only for themselves and the monies they can make.
Okay, so just a last word.
The government don't know how to do nothing, and on top of that, so long as they get their money for their children to go to private schools and buy all their furniture or whatnot, they're happy. But we can't do anything. Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Just tell us your name, how long.
Josephine Evans. And what else do you want to know?
Just how long you've been in Walthamstow?
Oh, I should say about 15 years. And well, the way it is, you would have thought this was a beautiful place, but it's not that. No. And I've noticed the country going desperate. People are desperate, but they haven't got no one to back them.
It seems what our government has done with the legal aid, you have stripped us of our services that we so need, and it's a duty of our country to provide social services, care, OT, all this for your people, Mr. David Cameron. We are your people. You govern us. Without us people, you'd have nothing to govern. So listen to us.
We're going to speak to Dulcie now, who's in sheltered accommodation in St Mary's House.
I'm Dulcie, yeah.
So just tell us about your experiences here and what you think of this Mini Holland scheme. What, in your opinion, is it about?
Rubbish. It's making a lot more trouble for car owners to get here. This is my daughter, she comes in a car. Took her ages to get here this morning. And, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I've been here 26 years, ever since this place opened. And it's gone down and down and down. But now they're doing this on the roads. I can't know why they're doing it.
Well, we've talked about that, and I've covered it in the show, and it's a United Nations worldwide programme called Agenda 21, which is also called Sustainable Development. So this borough accepted £30 million, and they accepted it. So basically what they did is they said, we're going to have a trial and see if anyone likes it. Then they brought in change agents to make it look as though everyone agrees. Now, do you know anybody in the village who's actually really consulted about this Mini Holland scheme?
Well, to be honest, I don't know many people in the village because I'm a bit, restricted from getting out, so I don't really know. But I know I get reports from people here who've spoken to them, and I don't think they think. I mean, we don't get many bikes up here anyway.
That's a really important point, because all of this was done on the back of making cycling for people from 8 to 80, so we're all going to get on our bikes, but where are we actually going to go on them? Because the problem is that they're saying this is about a cycling scheme, but Walthamstow village is tiny, and most people, you could get pushed around it. You're in a wheelchair, but you could get pushed around it in 5 minutes, couldn't you? So where's anyone actually going to cycle to? And there's cycle pathways and cycle access with cycling lane priority already here, and it's been here ever since I've been here, which is 1991. So we're not talking about cycling. So what is it really about? It's as you were saying, it's making it harder and harder for people with cars to get in. So your daughter's come to see you today.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with emergency services getting in, because this is not the only sheltered accommodation here. I think you've got 3, 4. What happens when emergency services need to get through?
That's an incredibly important point, because they're closing these roads off and there's going to be absolutely no access. Now, this is going to be a real problem, but the whole of the village is essentially going to be closed off.
What reason? Why? So people can ride a bike up and down?
Well, we've already discussed that, and in my opinion, and from my research, it's not about cycling. Cycling is used, what they've done is lobby cycle groups to get involved. So you've got people who are involved with a thing called transition towns. Did you ever hear of that?
No.
Well, transition towns was started off quite a few years ago, didn't really gain that much popularity in certain rural areas that people do get involved with it. Now, on the face of it, it's a very good thing. It's all about sustainability. But what Transition Towns was doing was priming towns and cities and rural areas for this takeover for the United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development, which sounds a very good thing. But what it's really about is taking away rights on the back of the fact that we might be polluting the planet and we need to be controlled and basically, these are my words, genocided, because that's really what it actually is. This is what I was saying earlier on to this lady over here, because the elderly will be pushed out, the people who've lived here a long time, who are on lower wages, will be pushed out. And what they're doing is they're bringing in people who have the money at the moment to invest in these new build flats, which are incredibly tiny, incredibly expensive. So what do you think about that, Dulcie?
Well, I think it's bad, because we've got enough flats around here. Every space you look at is flats, and we can't do with it all. It is polluting the area, cuts off the light, doesn't it? All these buildings, cuts off the light.
I've always said this, there's more going on than what we think.
Thanks for joining us on Windows on the World. Remember, keep watching those, watching us, watching Windows on the World. We'll see you soon.